Zaragoza, Barcelona o aquí en Madrid o en el resto de las delegaciones para hacer los intensivos de verano.
Este verano, refresca tu inglés con Vaughan Radio. Descubre, aprende, es Vaughan Radio. Aquí comienza Inglés Online TVE.
Everybody, welcome to the show. The program today, Inglés Online, TVE, as you say in Spanish, TVE, as I would say in English, Inglés Online, TVE. That's right. And we have class number 138 out of 200. Folks, we're going to reach 200. So thank you for tuning in. I want to remind you that you can join the party today on YouTube. That's where the fun is, right? YouTube. Hay que conectar. Like Rodolfo and Evelyn are saying, hi. Hi, everyone. Hello. As always, friends, says Evelyn. Hello, everyone, says Rodolfo. And what you do is you go to youtube.com and you search for Inglés, con el acento, right? In Spanish. Inglés Online TVE. Inglés Online TVE. And you can see us there live right now. And you can see what is happening inside our Vaughan Radio studios. In fact, you can even see Tino through the window. There he is, everybody. El mismísimo. The one and only Tino. That's right. You can see him and you can ask questions. The beautiful thing about this is it opens up a chat. Right? Un chat. There's a chat bar there. So if you have any questions about the English language at all, you can write in. Send me your questions. Mándame tus preguntas, tus dudas, as you say in Spanish. I don't like when people say I have a doubt. No, I have a question. There's something I'm not sure about. I have a question, Kyle. Well, send me your questions through the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. They could be about today's show, or they could be just in general. I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Okay? And anyway, let's get things started, as always, in the most logical way with today's beginner content.
Nivel básico.
All right, everybody, nivel básico. Basic, but essential, really, isn't it? The essential English. This is, the nivel básico is essential stuff. You have to know this. You got to know the ins and outs of the basics, right? And Belen says, hello, friends. Here I am watching this Canadian teacher and paying attention to, well, thank you. I guess I'd better fix my shirt and sit up straight, right? I've got to watch my posture and stay focused because I know people are watching. With radio, You know, people usually aren't watching. People are just listening with radio. But now, with this show, people are watching from anywhere, from around the world, right? We have Webster in the Dominican Republic. We have Nihad, who's in Morocco. We have Said, who's in Casablanca. We have Santiago. I'm not sure where Santiago is. We have Rodolfo. I'm not sure where Rodolfo is, but we have people all around the world. And Said says, hi, Kyle, what's the difference between hence and thus in formal English? Oof. I teach English, hence I have to know it well. It's almost like saying therefore or because of that. Thus. Ooh, hence and thus. Hence, to be honest, hence I never use. These are both words that hence is less common. Hence is once every 10 years. Una vez cada 10 años puedes usarlo. Think of that. An important part of learning words and learning terms is learning how and when to use them and at what frequency. Right? If you take an obscure term that is true, is correct, is accurate, but nobody really uses it, and then you try to force it in, people will understand you, but it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound normal. So I really recommend trying to understand the frequency at which words should be used. So hence, well, I could say, well, I knew I'd be on camera. Hence the nice shirt today. It's like saying, for that reason, por eso, hence. Hence the nice shirt. No, I'm just wearing a t-shirt today. In fact, I'm in my most informal attire. Normally I wear a button-up shirt, but today it's so hot. I struggle with the heat. And I didn't have any clients today or customers. I was working primarily from home today, and I was very relaxed. Hence the t-shirt. Por eso llevo una camiseta. Hence the t-shirt. Thus, that's why. Thus, I am wearing a t-shirt. Hence, I would say hence is followed by a noun. Hence the t-shirt. Thus is often followed by a clause, subject and a verb. Thus, we are here today. For that reason. That's a good question, though, Said. Very good. Okay, our beginner content. None of them know when the meeting is. Hey, who knows when the meeting is? ¿Quién sabe cuándo es la reunión? Who knows? Nobody. Nadie. None of them. Now, nadie would be nobody. None of them. None, ninguno de ellos. None of them. With none, we have the opportunity to say none of them, none of us, none of you. Look, I'm looking. In fact, I could turn the camera around. Maybe later, another day, I'll turn the camera around to show you who's in the office. I only see 4 people in the office, and 5, 6. 6 people there now. None of them are Chinese. How many of the people in the office are Chinese? None of them. None of them are Chinese. I see 5 people. None of them are Chinese. 3 of them are Spanish. 1 of them, I don't know, I think is English. 1 of them is French. And 2 or 3 of them are Spanish, right? De ellos. So here, none of them know when the meeting is. ¿Saben cuándo es la reunión? None of them know when the meeting is. All of them know where the meeting is, but none of them know when the meeting is. ¿Saben cuándo es la reunión? So none. It's important to know the difference between none and no one or nothing. Nada. It's like nada and ninguno. None of them know where the meeting. Know when the meeting is. Who knows when the meeting is? No one. Nadie in the whole group. No one knows when the meeting is. None of them, of a specific group, none of them. None of us None of us are Chinese. None of us speak German. All of us speak Spanish, but none of us speak German. On the radio, all of us speak English. None of us speak Chinese. None of them know when the meeting is. So that's our first sentence. None of them know when the meeting is. Brenda says hello. Hi, Brenda. How are you? Thanks for connecting. Nice to see you there, Brenda. She says hello. Evelyn says the weather had to be much better in Canada now. Now, it had to be. It must be. When you use a logical, the weather must be much better in Canada. Yeah, the weather's good. I spoke to my mother yesterday. She said it's great. It's warm, maybe 30 degrees, 30 grados. 30 degrees in my hometown, and there's people are swimming, people are going to the beach, people are enjoying it. Belen says, none of them are drinking Diet Coke. None of them are. Yes, it is or are, but yeah, are. None of them are drinking Diet Coke. Okay. There are lots of them in China. Lots of Chinese people. And now, she said lots of Chineses, but be careful. Hay muchos chinos en China, claro. There are a lot of Chinese people. You can't say, oh, I saw a Chinese. Chinese is an adjective. Chinese people. Chinese cars, Chinese telephone, Chinese electronics, right? Chinese cars, Chinese products, Chinese people. There are a lot of Chinese people in China. Okay, sure. Interesting example. Yes. Okay, so our beginner sentence today, none of them know when the meeting is. But let's push forward. Let's move on with today's intermediate content.
Nivel intermedio.
Nivel intermedio, everybody. The weather is good here in Casablanca, says Said, on the Atlantic coast of Morocco. Nice. I'd like to visit. I'd like to visit Casablanca. Tino, have you ever been to Casablanca? Tino has not been. Me neither. Yo tampoco. Maybe we should go down there and do a drive time live from Casablanca. I think that's a good idea. Anyway, our intermediate sentence today, I asked them to be careful, but they completely ignored me. So to ignore is no hacer caso. I asked them to be careful, but they completely ignored me. Like when sometimes I ask people to come to the radio show. Usually they answer me, but sometimes they ignore me. Yeah, but I try. I keep trying. You know, like I asked, who did I ask? A lot of celebrities. I've asked a lot of celebrities to come to the show. Very often they ignore me. But sometimes they answer. Sometimes they come. Sometimes they don't. I asked, ask. So the verb to ask, preguntar a alguien. Now, you also have pedir, to ask for something. Pedir un bocadillo. To ask for a sandwich. To ask for bocadillo, basically a type of sandwich, right? To ask for a hamburger. To ask for something to eat. Pedir algo. Pero preguntar is to ask a question. To ask someone something. I asked them to be careful. Now, in this case, you're not preguntando, please, would you? No, you're not asking a question, but we use the structure to ask. It's almost like a way of saying to tell them to. I told them to tell someone, look, I asked you not to touch the painting. Don't touch the painting. The security guard asked me not to touch the painting. Really, he told me. He told me to do it, but it's a polite and more subtle way of saying that he told me to do it. Right? He asked me not to touch the painting. So this is a good way for us to practice the negative imperative, right? Don't put your feet on the table. Imagine my mother. Kyle, don't put your feet on the table. My mother asked me not to put my feet on the table. Or actually, she told me not to, right? To be or not to be? That is the question. The negative imperative. Don't add so much salt this time, said the chef. Now, the chef asked me not to add so much salt this time. Okay. Don't park in that area, said the security guard. The security guard asked me not to park in that area. Or he told me not to park in that area. My mother said, Kyle, do not throw stones. My mother asked me not to throw stones. She told me, really, she told me not to throw stones. So to ask someone to do something is a bit more polite, less of an imperative order. I asked them to be careful, but they completely ignored me. So this sometimes happens with kids, for example. Be careful. Be careful out there playing in the road. But then the kids ignored me, right? When I was young, we used to play in the street a lot. We played sports in the street. Hockey. Ground hockey, we called it. Hockey, like hockey sobre hielo, but not on ice. With a ball on the ground, a tennis ball on the ground, usually in my driveway or sometimes in a street. And my mother would come out and say, don't play in the street. She would ask me not to play in the street, but sometimes we did anyway. Or she would tell me not to play in the street. Kyle, do not do that. And I'd say, all right. And then we wouldn't do it. But to ask someone to do something is sort of more suggestive. Could you please, would you mind not doing this? Would you mind doing it the other way? To ask someone to do something. I asked them to be careful, but they completely ignored me. We have our friend Estuardo who writes in and says, hello, Kyle and everybody. Joaquin says, I reckon, which is like a way of saying I think, I imagine, I suppose, there are fewer Chinese people in Spain than in China. You're absolutely right. There are definitely fewer Chinese people in Spain than in China. Brenda says, she can't shake off the feeling that it's a bad idea for a sandwich, for example. Okay, good, Brenda. Good example. He told me not to cry. Now, he told me don't cry. He told me not to cry over spilled milk. That's a good expression. Don't cry over spilled milk. There's nothing you can do. Valentino says he said to be quiet, and he is told to be quiet. Interesting nuances here. Yes. He said to be quiet. He said, look, the boss said to be quiet. He told us to be quiet. He told us to be quiet. Evelyn says, oh, you didn't listen to your mother. You were a naughty child. Well, I listen to her. Usually. Were you climbing up on trees when you were yeah, sure. Of course, sure I was. I was doing everything. Running around, climbing trees. Yes, absolutely. Joaquin says, the English world I practice aloud. By far, it's the past of the verb to ask. Asked. Yes, asked. The word I practice by far, I guess the word I practice the most out loud is the verb to ask. Very good. So it's like you're at the discoteca, right? You're at the disco. Asked. Asked. But it's also like to sound like, que asco, right? Ask. Asked. Asked. I asked a question. Every day I ask a question. Yesterday I asked 3 questions. Lately I've asked a lot of questions. Okay. Nihad gives an example. Said, my mother asked me not to jump. Now, asked me do not. Because, most people aren't getting this. She asked me not to jump on the bed because I would bump my head. or I might bump my head. Boom, ow. Okay. Good example, though. But yeah, she asked me not to jump on the bed. He asked me not to park in that area. He asked me not to add so much salt. He asked me not to cook his meat as much as last time. Okay, subject, ask, object to, infinitive, or not to, infinitive. Okay. Okay, hey, let's push forward, everybody, with today's advanced content.
Nivel avanzado.
Nivel avanzado, everybody. Yes, the advanced level. You should be able to warn them beforehand. Now, beforehand is kind of like before. Beforehand means before the event or before something happens, before. Now, Tuesday comes before Wednesday. But we're gonna have a very nice radio show tomorrow. And beforehand, I'm going to meet with Tino to talk about some details. So beforehand is one word, and it basically means before an event. Before this thing we've been talking about. You should be able to warn them. Advertir, to warn. So we have there are two interesting verbs here. There's the verb to warn, and there's also the verb to advise. And they're different because advise can be with positive news or it could be negative news. Whereas to warn is with negative. It's advertir, against, warning someone about a potential negative consequence of something, right? So they warned me that this was a dangerous road. They warned me not to drive fast. The police warned me to wear my seatbelt and pay attention to the road. So to warn someone to do something because otherwise there could be a negative consequence. So we have this structure to warn someone to do something. And on the other hand, you have to advise, which is just to tell someone some news. So I'm here to advise you that you have won the lottery. Yes. I'm here to advise you that you are being sued. No. So it could be good news or bad news. But warning someone is usually advising them of a potential danger in the future. Whereas advising someone is telling someone about some reality, sharing the news about something, advising something. So advise is more general. Warn is specifically advising someone about something with a potential negative consequence. Okay? So you should be able to. Deberías ser capaz de. You should be able to warn them beforehand. Beforehand, right? So like we talked about beforehand, very similar to before, but it's like saying before the event, before whatever. Saeed writes in and says, he knew he was going to lose the game beforehand. Yeah, like if I go to play tennis against Nadal, come on, Rafa, let's go. And even before the match, I know, look, even beforehand, I knew that I didn't have a chance. Okay? Yeah. You should be able to warn them beforehand. That's the sentence. Evelyn says if the police warn you and you don't listen, then you may get a ticket. Exactly. Una multa. Una multa? A ticket. Yes, correct. And, yes. Oh, Tino writes in, everybody. Tino is on the chat. El pájaro mismo. Hi, Evelyn and Webster. Thanks for your regards. Nice. Tino is in the chat, everybody. Say hello to Tino. There he is. Nihad writes in and says, hi. He says, I advise you to stick to English if you want to achieve fluency. Conseguir, to achieve your fluency. Yes. And Christian says, I'm sorry, I'm too late. Well, not too late. You're late for the start of the show, but you're not too late. You're here. Evelyn says, you're welcome, Tino. Yes, there you go. So people are exploring the chat. Nihad says, Tino in the house. Welcome, dear bro. There we go. Lots of people writing in. Lots of people participating in the chat today. So our final sentence, everybody, the advanced sentence. You should be able to warn them. Warn, advertir. Advertirles. Debería ser capaz de advertirles antes. Before the event, before something. In advance. You should be able to warn them beforehand. Valentino says, the bird is back. Yes, absolutely. Webster says, thanks, Tino. Nice to have Webster participating from the Dominican Republic. Now, remember, everybody, you can subscribe, not just watch it, but subscribe so you get notifications when new shows appear every day here, weekdays, most weekdays at least, right here on our YouTube channel, Inglés Online TVE, Inglés Online TVE. Okay, so thank you for listening today, and thanks for your participation. So today we have reviewed the content of class number 138. Okay. Christian says, I want to know the real hour you're on the air in Dominican Republic. Well, we're on right now. This is live, folks. So whenever this is, I don't know what time it is in Dominican Republic, but we're live on the internet. Okay, on YouTube and at vonradio.com and also through our Von Radio app. Thanks for listening, everybody. We're out of time. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Este verano tenemos un montón de planes para ti y tus hijos, para toda la familia. Ven a Vaughan. Disfruta el verano con Vaughan. Más información en